Welcome to Caribbean Lifestyle TV, another special event indeed. I first must say thanks to all the well-wishers out there who calls in on a weekly basis to make comments on the show. We usually would say this at the end of the show, but this time, respect to you, the audience. We have another special guest here for you this week, a person who needs no introduction, but protocol says I should. In fact, he's a writer. First of all, he was a student, an athlete, an Olympian, a well-sought-after public speaker, a philanthropist. Did I miss out anything? Oh, we're talking about Devon Harris, right?
You missed the soldier part.
Man. Oh, he was also a soldier. He used to beat up people on the street one time, he tells me, right? I hope they're not watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome once more to Caribbean.
That's great to be back. Thank you.
You're like a fixture here now, because you also have the title of being one of the first interview on this program for the pilot program.
No, it's
that made it happen.
Pig.
No, I didn't want to go there because my production people here don't like that pig business. Like so we won't go there.
All right, cool.
Well, how have you been?
I've been well. I've had a chance to come back to Jamaica a couple of times. In fact, on my last trips, I was there.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. You know, and I was just telling the guys that they refer to you as Mr. Clare and me as Devon Harris. So
we don't need to go into that. There's no need for clarification. But respect due to you, Devon. You've been doing some fantastic work, and you continue to do so, because I know the last time I saw you were coming from a speaking engagement along with some of your philanthropic endeavors that you're involved in. Let's start right there. How is that going on? Because I know you're doing something in the belly of the beast right now.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So I started a not-for-profit foundation called the Keep On Pushing Foundation. And the idea is to bring hope and opportunity to our youngsters back in Jamaica. You know, the lifeblood of possibility is hope. And growing up in Waterhouse, I remember just the feeling of despair as I looked around my community, and I'm looking at what I would want to do with my life afterwards. And things are a little bit worse now. The economic situation has taken a nosedive. As you know, crime and violence has been on the rise. And if these kids don't have an education, then they have very little hope. A number of years ago, I stopped at my old primary school, Jews Avenue Primary, and spoke to the principal there. One of the major issues they had was the fact that kids were going to school without breakfast. So we started a breakfast program, because if they're going to school hungry, they can't learn. If they're not learning, they're not getting an education. If they don't have an education, they don't have any hope, and they turn to crime. So spent 8 years in the JDF, so I understand the whole curfew issue, the whole curfew thing. We're very good at that. But I think we need to temper that or mix that with some social programs as well. And so that's what Keep On Pushing is working on.
What kind of assistance you been getting on that?
I've been working mainly from my speaking engagements, making donations from that. So every time I do a speech, I put some aside. But we also have a school supplies program, and I've been able to get some assistance actually from the Office Depot Foundation here in the States. And FedEx has kindly offered to ship the stuff down. But in terms of assistance from the wider Jamaican population here in New York, not much yet.
Well, let me ask you, is it because of ignorance on our part of the existence? Is it that there's a certain degree of apathy, or what? Because, well, it's Devon doing it, so most can do it by himself. Is that it? I
think it's apathy. I don't think any Jamaican living in New York could, in good conscience, say they are unaware of the issues that all of us, although we live here, are facing back home. But we somehow feel that somebody else will take care of it, and that none of it rests on our shoulder or should be on our lap. That it's okay, Devon or John or May will will do something, or because I'm here in New York, let them stay down there and kill themselves off. We as we say in Jamaica, is that's our neighbor string cut. We have, I believe, a responsibility to give back, because all of us have benefited from somebody who gave back before us and have given us a chance to have hope. And maybe, escape Jamaica, so to speak, and come here to America to make a life. And, you know, in my mind, we have that responsibility to create that opportunity for those who follow us in Jamaica.
You know, you look at the situation and you say hopelessness creeps in when you look at all the challenges and the competition for scarce resources. And even competition for that life you're trying to save, because there's an avid competition out there now.
I agree. Yes.
Because the man is at the gate waiting for this kid to fall through the crack, and you know he's a contributor now to the whole criminality.
Exactly.
Which is the usual way to go. But then you go back and you start asking yourself, what are some of the social intervention programs that one would say would be like an automatic situation, right? Does it really cost a lot of money? And I know we have had this conversation before, and we probably have the answer, right?
Yeah.
But why is it you think that even on the part of those who are in a position to make these things happen, you still find this apathy amongst them too?
Part of it is there's a human condition that we all suffer from, this reluctance to change. And somehow we feel that we can keep doing the same things, and somewhere along the road we're going to get different results. They call that insanity. If we keep doing the same thing looking for different results.
And we have a play, but then again, the insane people are let loose now, because we have no more institutions.
The inmates are running the institution in many respects. But, you know, the other part, I believe, is just this, there's an apathy and a detachment. It's okay because we live uptown and we hear on the news that, you know, one man killed another man in Waterhouse or Tivoli or whatever. But, you know, somehow it don't really impact us in an intimate way. It's still just us and them.
Yes.
And we fail. There's a line in our national anthem, and it says, give us vision lest we perish. And I think we are perishing. By and large as a nation, because there's this incredible lack of vision. And that's what's causing the apathy and the detachment.
Some people say we were in dark glasses at night.
Well,
you mentioned Waterhouse just now, and let us shed some light on Waterhouse, because I mean this year, of course, you know, whole lot of things shone into Waterhouse.
Yes.
Tell us about that. The Olympic pressure on Waterhouse this year.
Well, you know, of course, we had the pleasure of watching Sharian winning the 100 meters, and she's I don't know her, but a Waterhouse girl. And it, you know, what that reinforces that, in my mind, I think in all of our minds, is that there's talent and ambition in every nook and cranny of Jamaica. And it's a shame when we don't have avenues, institutions and programs to help these young people shine and live up to their full potential, because they benefit, but all of us benefit as well. Because
the pride that came out of that community, you know, I was able to drive down there and I felt great. I see how the people clean up the place, the whole shebang. I mean, it tells you that you're absolutely correct, that in every corners of our society that exists, but why is it can't be a natural?
And, you know, after the Olympics and the superb performance of our athletes, I actually wrote a piece and sent it down that was published by The Observer, where I spoke about my consternation, the fact that we can have our athletes who really, with very limited resources, are still able to discipline themselves, work really hard, have this goal, this vision, this purpose, and go on the international scene to compete against athletes who have far more resources. I mean, you live here in New York, where the average high school would put to shame the resources that we probably have at the national stadium. And yet our athletes are able to go on the international scene and dominate and do so well. Well, what is the difference between them and us? We're eating the same food, drinking the same water, breathing the same air. It's vision and discipline and a desire to work hard and be focused. That is sadly lacking in the rest of our society. We're
talking to Devon Harris, and I mentioned, I must tell you that he's, as an Olympian, you know, he did some very interesting things. We're going to talk to him about that. And when we come back to it, we're going to also get him his opinion. That morning when we had 6 Caribbean people lined up in 100 meters, I want to get his take on that, because I know he has a clear understanding and experience as to how that must feel, the pressures of the world. Watching Caribbean Lifestyle TV. We'll be right back.